Welcome, my friends.
Hello, hello, hello.
It's been a while.
It has been.
We're here tonight to talk about The Exorcist Believer.
Believer.
Mhm. We haven't done it on screen in a while. We haven't, and we've been, neither of us really wanted to go out to the movies to see this because we heard some things. So neither of us were very
Yeah,
excited. And I think we're gonna spoil the fuck out of it because at this point it's streaming, and
yeah. No, don't care. All bets
yeah,
are off now.
all bets are off. We're not gonna go into like all the minutia, but we're gonna hit the high points.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
will
I should
say it
say,
was very nice to be able to like stop it and pause it and go back and be like, wait, I missed something, or wait, what was that?
yeah, we did
It
that
was
a
nice
couple
to
times.
yeah.
Yeah, um, yeah, um, yeah. So, we decided I ended up renting it, so we just watched it from Amazon or whatever. But yeah, so this is still on the movie theater, but most of the time, like mostly you can get it. I would assume the next few weeks,
Technically.
technically, um, I would assume the next few weeks is going to go move to something like to like Paramount or Peacock or something like that, where it'll be even less than. 'Cause right now it's $20. Do not pay
Yeah.
$20 for this.
No.
Um, no, no. So all right, who all we got in this cast? So we got the
Oh, right.
wonderful, sexy Leslie Odom Jr.
Leslie Odom Jr. Yeah.
Um, we have we have some surprises, which I I don't think we're gonna surprise the I don't think we're gonna spoil the one surprise about the person who shows up at the end.
Okay, yeah, no. No, I believe that for
Yeah, I
people who
mean,
I guess
even
want
though
to.
kind of by just my saying that, I probably have already spoiled it. Like if you're thinking about what it probably is, you're probably right. Um,
Right.
So, but we've got oh, let's see. We've got um a lot of people that look like that you recognize them from things, but then you don't. Um you're like, "Hey, that's that person." You're like, "Wait, no, I don't know who that is." Um the only one that jumped out to me was Anne Dowd, who plays Anne, who was Joan in Hereditary. She's been in a ton of stuff. She looks completely different in this movie.
So
Uh,
different.
yeah. The other person I kept going, the mom. So there's Catherine and Angela are the little girls, and Catherine's mom. I'm like, who the fuck is that? It looks so familiar. Come to find out, she's the lead singer of Sugarland, which probably don't. I mean, I like Sugarland, but I don't know if a lot of people know of Sugarland. Most people only know of Sugarland about that horrible accident that happened at one of their concerts a few years back, where the roof fell, killed a whole bunch of people.
Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, at one of the pavilions that they were performing at. Obviously not their fault. They happened before they were
Well,
even on
no, it
stage.
was during a performance. It's the
Yeah,
venue.
they hadn't even got on stage yet.
Oh
Um,
Jesus.
yeah. So, I don't remember what year, but she's the lead singer of that it's a duo. I'm trying to think of one song that I think everyone would know. All I Want to Do is the one that I know. And
I only know the
but
one
yeah,
by Sheryl Crow.
yeah, it's better than Sheryl Crow's.
Okay.
No,
All
it's
I
not like a
wanna
remake of her song. Yeah, no,
do.
it's oh, and Stuck Like Glue is the other one I do remember. But I like her voice a lot. But she actually, I thought, for not having too much acting background, I thought she did a
She did
great
pretty
job.
well. Yeah, she did
Yeah,
a good job.
she's very believable. You have a lot of sympathy for her in this movie. But I'm trying to think of anybody else that was like, besides obviously, Ellen Burstyn is back here, 91 years old, or sorry, 90
Yeah.
years old,
90.
90 years
And she
old.
looks fantastic.
She
Fantastic
does,
for 90. Go girl.
she does, and I'm looking through the cast list, and there's really nobody else that like jumps
Well, it
out at
also
me.
doesn't help, by the way, that IMDb is like it initially lists them in order of appearance.
Right,
So I
right.
just had
There's a
to
whole bunch of
refine the search by
mhm.
popularity, and I'm like, "Ugh." ever.
Yeah, because it's a lot of like little kids on the beach in Haiti, so you're like, or Dominican
Right.
Republic, but it's supposed to be Haiti.
Fisherman
Yeah,
number 2.
yeah,
Okay.
okay. But I mean, the acting honestly is not the bad, not the bad part of this movie. It's not
No, it
why
really isn't. It's
it's
not.
not, because the two girls who play Angela and Catherine are fucking tastic.
They were great. They
Um,
were right on. They were so good.
Olivia O'Neill plays Catherine, and Lydia Jewett plays Angela, and I'm gonna give a
Mhm.
special shout out to her. She was fucking fantastic. Um,
Phenomenal. Just very, very good.
Phenomenal.
So for being so young. How old is she now? Born in
Um,
2007.
16.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, hey
She
man.
was born in Ethiopia.
Oh. Hmm.
Oh, she's done a few
Uh,
things. She's done a few things. She was in Hidden Figures. She was in Grey's
okay.
Anatomy. She was in the Good Girls show. She was in Black Panther as young Nakia.
Oh.
So, all right,
Huh.
all right. She working. She working.
She's working.
Yeah.
Um.
Good for her. Yeah, she was
Um.
fantastic. Just fantastic.
Oh yeah, the one I'm thinking of. Sorry, it's the Indiana State Fair stage collapse. That's what happened. Sorry, I was looking. It came up when I put in Sugarland.
Oh, okay.
Any hoozles. All right. So this movie. We start.
Where do you want to start?
We start because they're supposed to be what, 13 in this movie. So
Yes.
they're 12 because he says 12 years. It's 12 years in the past. So we start in Haiti and we start with dogfighting. So just exactly what I want to start my movie with.
Yeah.
Dogfight.
First scene is dogfight.
Yeah. Dogfights. Yep.
Cool.
Um and we see very, very pregnant Serene. I think Serene. That is Victor, who is Leslie Odom Jr.'s wife. I don't know what they're I think they're both photojournalists, but they're there just,
It's again, it's yet another movie where you have a couple where you have people who it's not explained what they do for a living, and
inexplicably in this.
they
Yeah.
live in an unbelievable house,
Yeah.
and it's like, right, it's
Right.
not
Right.
realistic, but thanks Hollywood.
Right. Because even like there, it was hard for me to believe that these two. I mean, it would be amazing if
If
they were
they
both
were photojournalists for like CNN or something really
or
huge,
Time
maybe.
or
But
National Geographic or
maybe that would probably carry a high salary. But
right.
like later
Even
on,
then,
there's a scene where later on where Victor is literally in a mall taking family photos. There's no freaking way.
right.
Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. But we
As a single father.
as a single father, right? Spoiler.
Yeah.
So
Well, this will be very
that's
quickly.
that's why I was saving it. So, oh well, I guess, but
I mean, it literally happens in
never
this
mind.
next scene.
That's what
Yes.
I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
until we do this next
Because
scene. So
Serene she's kind of like
they're in
wandering.
they're in Haiti,
Hmm.
and he's taking pictures, and she is too. Like they might both be photojournalists or
But
photographers of some
she's like
sort. But she's
heavily pregnant.
about to burst. How in the
Yeah.
fuck did she pass to fly?
Why
How?
would you want to be in Haiti while you're that pregnant?
You're that pregnant. Come on.
Like, she sneezes wrong, that baby's shooting out of her. That's how pregnant
She
she
was
is.
huge.
Yeah.
Like belly button out, distended. Like she was
Yep.
huge.
And
She was maybe a week.
this little boy comes up to her. He's like, lady, I've got a gift for you for your baby. So I was like, you're just gonna go with this random child off the street, and then he
In
takes her to
Haiti.
see some in Haiti, and takes him to see some, I don't know what they, like a priestess sort of thing. Like they're doing like like
Like
in
spiritual
home
healing of some
spiritual
sort,
something. Yeah,
some kind
like
of
some sort of
holistic.
ritual or something. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. But all I know is like she's spitting on her feet and Seren is drinking something. I'm like, you're not going to drink something that someone you don't even know gives you as you're that pregnant.
No,
But it's supposedly a blessing for the baby. Cool. It just
fine.
it felt weird because it felt like the music wasn't like the stinger music wasn't like happy music. It was like could possibly be ominous, you know? Like there's a
Yeah,
good thing,
yeah,
not a good thing, you know? I'm like,
right.
again, but a child just coming up to me on the street, yeah, I'd be weirded out too. But,
Yeah, whatever.
you know,
She wanted to
hey,
be immersed in the culture, maybe. Who
sure.
knows?
So luckily she got that blessing because not long
Because who
after
boy?
that, there's an earthquake. It's a large one.
Yeah.
And she's on the top floor of a hotel. Another thing where I'd be like, you know what? My almost birthed baby mama is like at the top of this hotel. Maybe I don't I'm
Can we
sure
get a first floor? Is there a first floor room available?
because right, because she's gonna walk up
Like,
all those stairs. Can
right.
we
And
possibly get her something where she can like and at one
you
point
pointed
she's gonna be
out,
shoot huh?
I was just gonna say what you just said.
Yeah, and at one point she's gonna have shoes on. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is happening? Did- I, I wouldn't walk around my town without shoes, let alone a
Oh.
foreign country.
Fuck, I don't walk around my apartment without slippers on. Well, that's because I live in a century home though, and the floors are cold.
That's
But
true,
that's
true,
different. That's a little bit
true.
different. But
Yeah,
yeah, like I would
yeah.
not,
I mean, we're both like, okay, I know her feet are probably swollen, but you'd at least have flip flops on or sandals or something.
yeah, come on.
Yeah, like,
That's weird.
so yeah, there's a horrible earthquake, and she's trapped on the stairs, clinging to life because she gets kind of like covered in rock, covered
Yeah.
in like the
And like
ceiling, pretty
sheetrock,
much.
and yeah, it just
Yeah.
collapses on her. And she, with her with her last breaths, when he finally catches up to her, when he finally is able to find her in the amongst the rubble, she looks at him and says, "Protect her."
Yep.
That's all she wants. Protect the kid, protect their child. Because they had already established that it was a girl and her name was going to be Angela.
Hmm. And
Um,
so he gets her out of there, and the doctors are like, "You got a choice to make. Either we save your wife, or we save the baby." Pretty much, like any sort of
right.
anything that we do to help save the wife will also possibly endanger the baby.
Yeah.
So he has to make a decision. The next
We don't
scene,
actually see that decision.
no, I was gonna say next scene we see grown up Angela.
Yeah. 13 years
Y-
later.
Yep, and mom's not around.
Yeah. So,
Um,
obviously mom passed away,
mhm.
but we see super dad Victor,
he
adorable,
guys,
has a
he's got
great.
these pants on that are
Oh
just
my god.
hug his beer end, a
Mm.
la Matthew McConaughey in what the fuck is that movie? Uh oh, where he plays the lawyer. Shit, it's like the best shot of a
Oh, A
pair
Time
of
to Kill?
yes, where he's got those khakis on. Those are like that is the best pair of walking away khakis I've ever seen until
Mhm.
now. These ones are fucking also they're bright blue, and I'm like, okay, I love this man.
I see you.
Also Leslie Odom Jr. with hair was throwing me off a little bit. Um, because I wanted that, I wanted
That
that
clean
shine that
shaven
he's
Aaron
got in
Burr.
the yeah,
Yeah.
Aaron Burr shine. Um, and yeah, and he like you said, he's being super dad. He's getting, Angela's
Yeah.
breakfast
He and
ready and
Angela have, because he's a single dad, and but they have a
very
really good
worried.
he's got a very good rapport with her. They have a really great relationship,
And the
kinda
actors
kinda
themselves have really
jokey,
good
and
chemistry. Mhm.
yeah, like, there's a point where, like, I don't know, where she thinks she's hiding from him, but he knows better, and he goes back, like, to a backward entrance in her bedroom and scares her, like, startles her or whatever, and it's cute, and he's like, they have a very stellar relate like chemistry. So it was
And you
believable.
can tell, like, he has put a stop to his life to take care of this child.
Yeah.
Um, like, he's put everything on hold for her. Um, she asks to go to her friend Catherine's house after school to do homework. And he's kind of like him and hawing because normally she would come to his studio, do homework while he was like finishing up with his work. And just this once, he's like, "Fine, fine, you can go."
Have
Um,
this she's at the age where she's gonna wanna this happened with my boyfriend and his girls. They were about, this age when they wanna start hanging out with their friends, and, you gotta give them let the leash go a little bit. Give them a little freedom
well, and he even
to
says, he's like,
be
"I know your
social.
friend." Yeah, he's like, "I know your friends. I know you got friends. I know you're, whatever." But like, kind of like, I still worry about you. You're still my kid,
Yeah,
and
you're still my baby.
this is a time for us to like bond still. So
And
anyhow,
I think what he said to her was, like, dinner, like, as in,
be home
like,
by
be home by
dinner.
dinner. Yeah, and
Hmm.
she's like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you," and, like, is all happy, and it's like, "Alright, fine. Fine, go. Be home by dinner, though."
Yeah.
On the way as they're on their way out, though, as they're leaving the house to for him to drive her to school, their bitchy neighbor bitches at him about the garbage cans.
Yeah, and that's Anne. We meet Anne here, again played by Anne Dowd, and we're both like, "Listen, Karen, that's her
I
own
know,
garbage cans. Like that's their business. You stay the fuck out of it." So
and
every time
I
you see her,
thought I'm sorry,
no, go ahead.
and I thought that was gonna be, like, one of the probably few times we would see this character that, like,
Right,
she's just a bitchy Karen that's like, bring in your garbage cans," it's like,
right,
fucking
and then we find out that there is a different side to Anne later. I mean,
oh, yeah.
you feel
Very
real bad
interesting.
for Anne Karen. You'll feel bad for
Yeah.
Karen later.
Karen
I'm like,
Ann.
"That's your manager." But she's a nurse, so because we see her in the scene, she's got scrubs on, so we know she's working in the medical field somehow. But keep that in mind. Comes back, so
Yeah.
goes to
Keep that
school.
in the back.
We meet Catherine. Catherine is raised in a very we couldn't figure out like what denomination, but
Doesn't
it's
matter.
Christian. We just couldn't figure out what.
There's
Would you say?
I said doesn't matter. There's a ton of those kinds of churches.
Yeah, it's
Um,
Georgia, so it could be whatever.
yeah.
Like because they're giving communion. I'm like, well, that's not Catholic, so I don't mean that's Catholic, but not this is not Catholic. Oh, the other and the pastor is oh fuck, what is his name from
Something I just had it up. Raphael Sabarge plays Pastor
yes.
Don Revens. He was Jiminy Cricket in Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, he's delightful. And he's actually very good here too. I
Yeah.
um they're because they at some point there's a super team that
Yeah, super
that
team.
joins up. It's the Avengers of Christ in this, so
Adventures of Christ.
but so we
Oh
meet
my
So
god.
Catherine is from a very like very religious, like strict religious home.
Yeah.
They're all kind of like it's very male dominated sort of home. We could tell like the dad makes the rules
Yeah.
um and so, she now says she tells her parents that she's going to stay to do homework over I cannot remember the girl's name because they mentioned it like
Deshauna
twice. Deshauna, thank you.
over at
And we will
Deshaunna's
and
house.
yeah, for to do homework. The girls are all talking during class. Well, the two are Deshauna and Angela about what they're gonna do. What exactly they're gonna do like after school. Because they're not doing homework. Also, you should know that um Angela wanted to take her mother's scarf, like shirt, but her
Oh,
father
right.
kind of pulled it out
She,
of her
like,
hands
just
at the last
randomly
minute.
had it on, and he's like, "What do you have on?" And
Yeah, which
he
I
was
was kind of like,
very
dude. Yeah, I was like, that's let her have something of her mom.
yeah,
Like
he was a little, like, off-put not a little, he was very off-put by, like and he said something about, like, "This is my
which
stuff-ish."
I was like, well,
'Cause it was 'cause where her mom's stuff was in with his things, like, in his room and stuff, meaning that
yeah.
she went snooping in his room for whatever, but it's like, dude, but it's her mom's stuff, but yeah. That it was, yeah.
It was very
But he
odd. So
takes the scarf from her.
and that's important because she doesn't have it with her.
Yeah.
So for what she's going to go do, and what they're going to go do is she and Catherine. I don't know why Deshauna didn't go with them, but she didn't. I think she was just playing. She was being the hooky person, the person who was going to cover for everybody else. I
Yeah,
guess.
she was the cover girl. Cover girl.
Yeah.
Put the bass in your walk. Cover girl. Sorry.
um, but they go into the woods and they're gonna have a séance. They're gonna do a séance in the woods
Because Catherine
because
knows all about the devil, I guess.
well, well, because Angela has been hearing her mother speak to her, and she wants Catherine to hear her mother speaking.
To make sure
So
she's not crazy.
right,
That,
so
you know,
that was the reason she kind of wanted the scarf because she needed something to get to kind of channel her
something,
mother.
right. Something that was hers. A talisman, if you will. You know?
Yeah, so she doesn't have that. Um, So we see them in this hole in the ground, pretty much. It's like,
Which you could not pay me enough to go down there. It wasn't even what it was like an entryway to a closed off part of a sewer or something.
something. I don't
I
know.
don't
It
know.
was like,
Even a
or
well.
part of a building that had, yeah, like something that had been like kind of decayed and like falling in on itself. But it
Ugh.
was definitely like a basement level of something at one point,
Yeah.
because it was in the ground. And they're down there and they start chanting at one another. And that's all we see right here.
That's it. That's all we get.
There's like right there we have as they're doing the seance, there is some it flashes to jackhammering and then a screaming child and jackhammering and a screaming child. And it's
Yeah,
supposed to
it
be
was
like setting you off kilter, like to be like, what's going on? Um and then
which good job.
suddenly it's yeah, thanks, because I am. And suddenly Victor's getting home and there's no Angela.
Yeah, she's not there. And so he, he digs out like the middle school contacts, school contacts and gets in touch with Catherine's parents and
Right.
says, is my daughter there? And they're like, who is this? Who are you? Who is she? What? I've never
Yeah.
heard of her. And they had no idea. And they're like, oh, and so like, the mom is like sounding really concerned and she's like, she was supposed to go to this girl Deshauna's house. And then we cut to we're at Catherine's parents' house. Victor is there with
Yeah.
police.
Right.
And they're like, so just went from 0 to 60. Both kids are missing. They are legit missing.
Because at this point, it's about 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
When they're in the police department, when they're in the police, the police department, it's about 9 o'clock. And this is where like tensions are heavy,
Real high, real high.
real high.
Justifiably
Because
so, but there's never any room for racism. Thank you.
I don't know if there was even that much there. I
There
didn't
was
feel
a
that.
touch. There was a touch. There
I
was a
think with
beat.
Tony possibly, like the dad. I
That's
don't
what
think
the
the
dad,
mom.
not the mom so much, but yeah, the
No, the
dad,
only thing she
Tony.
says is like, I don't, like I don't know you. Like she's like, I didn't know
Yeah,
your daughter was friends with my kid, or I would have known you before this night.
yeah,
Like she's like, I would have made a point to know who you were.
yeah.
Like
Well,
so,
and because of that, like because I don't know who your daughter is, but my daughter wouldn't do something like this.
right,
That was the implication, and it's like, oh, hold up.
but at
And
the same time, Victor's like, my girl's a good girl. She would never do
yeah,
this, and it was kind of like, okay, guys, never say never.
never
Your
say
kid would
never.
ever do anything. You don't do that because one, you jinx it, and two, you never do that.
Yeah,
Two, it's just not the time and place. Not
not the time,
helpful.
right?
I mean,
Not constructive.
not
3,
constructive.
they're 13, right? So their
Right.
hormones are starting to go. So you know what they're doing, okay?
I mean, what would have been worse is if somebody had kidnapped them both, and they both have
Right.
been like, my kid doesn't do this shit. Well, yeah, no, because they were kidnapped. So like,
Right.
it's
There's something like not wanting to go there, but like something really bad could have happened.
Yeah, I mean, something bad happens, but
That was not their fault.
no, no. So we go. Let's see. Oh,
Victor's not giving up. He kind of like he goes to a homeless shelter at one point
oh.
because the cop
This
this
movie
was
hates homeless
disgusting.
people, FYI.
It was
This
bad. There was
movie
the
hates
literally
people
a
experiencing
character
homelessness.
called Mr. Garbage,
Mr. Garbage.
which
And then
obviously is some sort of nickname, but like okay.
well, and then, I mean, because it's like, then he goes to like, he's interviewing some of these people at like the homeless shelter, and they're like the most disgusting caricatures of like a homeless person, like talking
Yeah.
about how pretty much it's like they're
Yeah.
getting raped. Oh, your kid, little girls are probably getting raped right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty much
Right.
what he says.
Right. Which
And
obviously is
yeah,
very helpful.
yeah. I mean, it's just like really didn't need. We didn't need this
We
scene.
really didn't need it.
We
No, we
didn't
really
need this
didn't.
scene, and I really didn't need that graphic demonstration of what's happening to them. Thank you.
Yeah, it was
Thank
gross.
you, Mr. Garbage. Thank you.
Aptly
I don't know
aptly named.
I don't know, DGG. What is your problem with fucking homeless people? You and Danny McBride. Danny McBride also helped write this one too.
Oh,
So
did he? Oh, interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
because he helped write Halloween, all the
Yeah, I know
Halloweens.
that. Yeah, I know
Yeah, so he
that.
did. Yeah, he's listed as a screenwriter on this one.
Yeah. I
So
didn't see his name. That's weird.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
go looking
I
for
didn't
it.
catch it. I wasn't looking for it. I didn't
Yeah,
catch
you
it.
probably weren't looking for it. I mean,
No.
because why would you think that Danny McBride would be writing on The Exorcist?
I
I
wouldn't.
mean, I know that they're a part, like they're a writing partners now, but whatever. And
Whatever.
Scott Teams from Halloween was also writing on this one too.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
um, they go looking for the girls. We don't know at this point how long it's been, but they do find a pair of shoes.
yeah. But Victor, they start, searching out in the woods, and Victor goes down in this like icky well pool sewer question mark whatever
Thing.
area, and he finds like first he's going to try to reach for this necklace that they had.
Yeah.
And but he slips and falls and like, can't find it, but then what he does pull out is one of their shoes. So it's
Yep.
like, okay, there's a clue. There's something here. They were here somehow somewhere.
Look like bright white British Knights. BK Knights,
I know.
man.
All the 90s clothes are coming back. So
Yeah.
90s high
Might as
tops.
well.
Awesome.
So Victor comes home after finding the shoes and everything, and someone's in his house. He's kind of nervous but excited because he thinks that maybe Angela's home. No, it's not. It's his buddy Stuart from across the street. He's brought a voodoo priest. I thought it was a voodoo priestess. Got to find out she does root work, which I've never heard of that before. But what it is like what the slaves would practice here. So it is a form of Christianity, because she does
Hmm.
talk about Jesus, and she's very much in. It's just they and she is a doctor, but she's more of like holistic medicine and holistic ritual practices. But her
Yeah.
name is Dr. Hebe.
Beehive. Beehive.
Beehive. Beehive. Beehive.
Yeah. Beehive. Like Beehibe.
Yeah,
So it looks like
I was all
beehive, but
throwing
it's
that in.
not.
Yeah. She's another person I know. I've seen her in something. I didn't nothing jumped out at me, but she's beautiful skin. She's
I know.
beautiful.
I'm trying to find her on this. Okay, Dr. Beehive.
Um,
Okwi Okpokwasili. She was
that
in I
sounds
Am
yeah.
Legend.
Yeah,
She's
that's what I was like, oh, maybe
beautiful.
she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, and he's kind of like, everybody out.
Oh, I
He's
know. I would be
everybody out.
like, this is not okay, because they were like burning sage in her room, trying to bless the room, and because
He's like,
his buddy Stuart goes to what he calls like a speak in tongues kind of church, but this is Georgia,
yeah,
right? So it's not unfounded.
right.
And he's like, nope, everybody out. That's it. Nope, I'm not
Everybody
doing this.
out. Everybody
I'm
out.
not doing this.
Um, and so I'm trying to look at my notes. Okay, so the next shot is this horse like dead on this farm. Like
Oh yeah,
they're gonna bury it.
in the rain.
in the rain. And so the kid goes inside to, I don't know what he's like. Anyhow, goes inside the barn. They
Their
find the
chains or
two
something. Yeah.
they find the two girls in the barn, like
Yeah.
huddled together, like shell shocked, like completely in a
Shivering
catatonic
and
state.
yeah, and cold. There and then the next scene, you're at the hospital. The parents have dashed to the hospital. Victor almost gets into an accident nearly 3 times on the way to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of car crashing on his way to the
Yeah.
hospital. It's like, calm down, okay? Just a minute.
Yeah.
Just a tad. Or have somebody drive you, maybe.
Right. Maybe Stuart drives you. Maybe Stuart drives you to the hospital.
Yeah.
Because then we find out when we get there that they've been missing because they ask Angela. They're being interviewed separately and being examined separately, obviously.
Yeah.
And they
And
ask her,
Angela's like, I'm
honey,
sorry, we just lost track of time.
well, they're like, how long do you think you've been gone? She's like, a couple hours. They're like, baby, it's been 3
No.
days.
Yeah. 3 days.
And so,
And
yeah, because we didn't know.
their feet are fucked up.
Yeah. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where we start getting the possession imagery shit. Supposedly their feet are fucked up because they were standing in hell.
Sure. Whatever.
But then they have to do all the horrible like examinations that you would normally have to do if somebody's been taken and they come back, or you've been assaulted,
Including but not limited to, like a pap smear or a rape kit or,
rape kit. Mm-hmm.
basically, scraping there. And they're 13, right? So this is their first experience with having any kind of OBGYN experience.
Right.
So
and hear things like, we need to make sure your hymen ring is still intact.
It's still intact.
It's like, that's traumatizing. But don't worry, because these two bitches got like fucking super powers now.
Yeah.
They are like, one can turn a baby off from screaming. So that's helpful.
Turn a baby off? Like turn it off.
You can turn the power off on a baby.
Oh my God.
Screaming mode muted. Because the ones licking a window.
Oh yeah,
they're like they're looking rough, and one has already started to get her demon teeth in. You know how we joke about how as soon as they get possessed, they get demon teeth.
Oh yeah, those fucked up black yucky teeth.
Yep.
Those gray teeth.
Yep. Yep. They've got some supernatural powers now. And they take both girls go. Well, one girl goes home first. Angela goes home first. Angela is a walking coma. Like she's a walking coma patient, pretty much. Like she is like almost.
She's not herself.
She's
not laughing. Yeah, she's not laughing and jokey. It's very much a callback to the first movie, how Reagan was. Reagan was a happy-go-lucky kid, and then was suddenly not.
Yeah, I even said we were watching, I was like, man, she's so Reagan-esque at certain points that she's very like, for
sure,
skipping and jumping and and then this, which definitely says something to the acting ability of this young lady, because she you definitely see the difference. There is a definite difference between the mannerisms.
She was a cute little kid, but then she was like a fucking scary as shit.
Yeah. Well, and so she's, her dad puts her to bed and they're having a conversation, and she sees a demon version of herself over her dad's
behind
shoulder.
him in the background, and like all we see is the focus
like
foreground.
And the Insidious.
Yeah. And Ray had her head turned away at that moment, like she was writing because she was taking notes like a good person, and I was not like an asshole. And I was like, stop, you have to back it up. You missed it. And so we backed it up again, and it's like, oh, it was so good. Because it was just that one shot.
Times. We liked it so much.
Yeah, it was just that one shot.
It was that one shot, but it was effective. It was good.
Yeah. And then she asked her dad to leave her room. She's like, just leave me alone. I need to be alone now. And he's like, all right, babe.
So he gets up the next morning, he's making breakfast for her, and he comes in because she's not woken up.
And she's like catatonic.
She's like light as a feather, stiff as a board, laying on top of her sheets.
Yeah. and it's
And
not.
she's wet the bed.
Yeah. So he's like, babe, what's going on? And like, he's such a doting dad and he's so sweet, but he's like, I don't know what to do here. So he's like, well, let's just get up. Let's get you cleaned up. And he like starts to draw a bath for her. And it's like, look, I'll let you do, because she's a young lady, right? So he's like, I'll
Yeah,
let you
you and I had
do
this
whatever.
conversation, like,
I
yeah, it
know.
was, like, tough because she's nearly catatonic, like,
Oh yeah, she's not
there's
verbally
nothing
responsive
here.
at this point.
Yeah, like, she's just standing there, and it's like, you I know you're gonna hate this, but you're gonna have to bathe her because she's not with it right now, like,
She's not here today.
no, no. Angela's
Not
gone
here
bye-bye.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Angela has gone bye-bye.
Um, but he's trying to be respectful at first. And then like
He goes back into the
he goes
bathroom
back,
because
yeah, and the bathtub is filled with muddy, it
oily.
oily brown water, and it's nasty. And I was like, okay, I take back what I said about him having a baller house. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Something
and
wrong with the plumbing.
her attitude changes like that here.
Oh my god, yeah.
And so she leaves, and this is where we get the foreground creepy crawly Pennywise crazy motion in
Yeah.
the background, because we can see her fucking moving around, like, because now
Yeah.
she's got super speed. She's fucking Sonic, and she comes up behind him. Remember her mom's scarf? Well, she
Mhm.
uses that and she pulls it over his face and takes him down, and he hits his head like bam on the side of the bed. Both of us went,
Super
"Oh!"
hard.
Yeah,
Super
we
hard
heard it.
on a
I felt
metal
it.
headboard.
Yeah, I felt it here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's all right.
Because the next scene is
He's
he's admitting
taking him to
her,
the
right?
hospital.
Yeah, he's
Mhm, he's
taking
taking
her
him to
to
the hospital
the
because
mental institution.
she's like, well, first I think they take her to the hospital first, and because that's when Anne shows up again.
Oh,
Well,
right, right. Because we do see Anne earlier again, because it's like, oh, you see that she's a nurse there, and she, makes some kind of comment to Victor, like, I've been praying
I've
for
been
her to
praying for
return. I
you.
was happy to see her, but
Hmm.
something ain't right. But then, she's like taking care of her,
Yeah,
and
she sees the scratches all over her legs
yeah, and her stomach.
and her stomach, and she's also swearing like a fucking like me.
Oh yeah,
She's
she's
swearing
like,
like she's got a mouth like me.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
screaming, "Fuck you! Fuck, I want my mommy! I want my mommy!" When it's like her mom's dead, first of all.
With like horrible obscenities that she's just swear. I mean,
Yeah,
again, this
let
kid
go of me,
doesn't.
motherfucker! And like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
whoa,
yeah, and they're like, and Anne sees the scratches on her legs and her stomach, and she's like, I think this child is with the devil.
hey,
And we come to find out Anna's very religious.
hmm,
She's very Catholic.
yeah.
And
How do we find
so,
that out, Miss Ray? How do we find that out?
we should- how do we find it out?
Yeah,
Oh, well, because, oh, yes. So this is when she's taking care of Angela at one night,
yep,
and
yep,
she just says, Sister Mary Xavier, you scraped your baby out from inside of you. You scraped her out like a pumpkin.
yeah. And
Gross.
then she starts like her like
Bleeding.
the white blanket over her groin area starts to fill with blood, and Anne
Hmm.
is like, the fuck. And so I don't remember what happens next, but I don't remember how we
This
get
is where
to the mental
this is
hospital.
Yeah, this is where Victor goes on the tour of the mental facility to, like,
Yeah,
okay, I guess this is where I'm gonna send her because I can't take care of her. Like, this is the only place it's gonna, because at this point she's also like, well, yeah, they're helping to strap her down and pretty much giving her sedatives to keep her like
like almost
calm.
constantly. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's shipped off to the mental institution.
Hmm. In
Meanwhile,
a like
Catherine,
very secure room.
yeah. Meanwhile, Catherine, they're taking that bitch home.
They're trying to take care of things at home, just in the privacy of their home. Or no, yeah. So they took Catherine home, and interspersed through this, I think, is like the very next day they're taking Catherine to church to show off that, hey, she's returned, she's healthy, she's great.
Right.
But Catherine is not so great, you guys.
No.
She's
She
taking
gets
off her shoes.
she's picking shit up with her feet. Those gross
Yeah.
feet. Mm-hmm. And
And
all the while, like, her
oof,
dad is like, nope, no, she's great, guys. She's great,
we're all
everybody.
right.
There's nothing to see here. We're
Thank
good. She's
Jesus.
good.
Thank you. Thank
I
you,
mean, her
Jesus.
face looks like it's rotting off. Like, she's got scars and her teeth are rotten, like, are
Yeah.
rotting. So during communion, she gets up to take a stroll. And she decides that she's gonna solo. She's gonna do a solo here in the second half of church, second half of mass. She's like, "Oh, yo, Father, I got this handled," and she just walks in covered in blood. How? I don't know, and just starts screaming, "The body and the blood, the body and the blood, the body and the blood," and she's like, "There's some
You know what?
scratches
It
on."
looked like what she was covered in, what her white dress was covered in, it didn't look like blood because it was too dried and dried pink. So I think it was grape juice. I think it was all the juice because that's what they use for the blood of Christ. Is kind of what I'm thinking.
I don't know.
I don't know, but whatever. It doesn't matter because she's just fucking going crazy.
Yeah, and they're like, we should probably,
We're
get
gonna
her out of
go.
here.
We're gonna
Yeah,
go.
we're gonna
Thank you.
peace out.
Thank you guys so
Um,
much. We're gonna go
yeah,
now.
yeah. Thank you all for the prayers. We're gonna go and take care of this at home. Um, uh, so as they're taking her home, Anne comes to visit Victor because she brings him this book that was written by Chris McNeil,
A
and it's like
mother's
a
story or a
mother's
mother's struggle or trouble or
intuition or something.
something.
And he's pretty much like telling her, like, I don't believe in any of this hooba juba, so whatever. And she goes, let me just tell you a story about me. And she goes, I was a novice, I was a nun, and I
Mm-hmm.
was going to take my vows, but I kind of like lapsed and I got pregnant and I didn't keep the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And my name was going to be Sister Mary Xavier. She's like, I've never told anybody, a single soul, that name
Not one
before.
person.
And
Never
no
told
one knows
anybody.
that I had an abortion. But Angela knows.
Angela knew. So sit on that for a minute, if
Yeah.
you will.
And so he's
Like,
like, okay, let me have that book that you had there. Like,
maybe
so
I'll just peruse it. Maybe
I'll peruse it. Maybe
I'll
look a
read
couple
through it.
videos up online later. I don't know, maybe. And so he does, because suddenly Chris McNeil's become Constantine. I guess she's going out giving fucking, you know, giving out exorcisms and doing whatnot and counseling people about exorcisms. Okay. Um and this is, so he goes to see her. So Victor goes to see Chris McNeil, thinking that maybe
Yeah.
she can help him.
Yeah.
And she says that he asked about Reagan. And she's like, I've not seen Reagan for years. I don't know where she's
Yeah.
at.
She got
I might
pissed
not ever
off
see her
that
again.
I wrote this book, thought that I ruined her life. She has cut off all contact with me. I don't know where she is. I don't know who she is, but
And this has a connection to the
Oh,
TV
yes.
show.
Yes, it does.
Take it away,
So,
my dear.
well, I don't made myself not made myself. I was genuinely interested in where it was going until about the 6th episode of 10, and I was like, okay. But then I just was like, whatever, let's just suffer through and get this over with. So I watched The Exorcist season 1, the TV show that is affiliated with the movies. Like, there's a ton of Exorcist, this Exorcist, that. This was supposed to be The Exorcist, like part of their timeline, whatever. So they do maintain that in the show. So spoilers galore. The character played by Gina Davis, Angela Rance or something like that.
Yeah.
Her daughter becomes possessed. She goes to the priests. to help, and these two priests are, trying to, help this poor girl who's possessed by, a demon for 6 whole episodes, and it is like a slog because this by the 6th episode, this girl is like half dead, and they even are in the priests are at a nunnery where like their mother superior, where they specialize in exorcism, and the mother superior is starting to call it. She's like, dude, we got to let this baby go. Like, there's
Yeah.
not going to be anything left of her. Because like what tends to happen is when you're possessed in this lore, when you're possessed, your body starts to rot away.
Right.
Hence all the nasty teeth and skin and whatever. So
Go lay down.
what had happened was Pazuzu, basically it comes to light that Angela is not who she says she is. Her husband figures out that her name is actually Reagan. Yeah, big cute eye rolls here. She's actually Reagan. She and her mother no longer speak. She moved away, changed her name, and just lives a different life, cut off all contact with her mother. Because in the show, they portrayed the Chris McNeil in a much worse light, that like she dragged Reagan around as a child, on press tours and media, whatever, to try to, talk about the demon possession and make money off of it. When obviously that was awful for Reagan. But Chris McNeil does actually show up in the show, but she doesn't last long. But she's played by, what did I say? It was Cagney and Lacey.
Tyne Daly, right?
Tyne Daly, yeah, plays Chris McNeil. So so that's about that. So it is true that like that's how they have it in the show, that Reagan was like, fuck you, I'm out.
Oh no, it's not Tyne Daly, it's Sharon Glass. It's the other one. It is Cagney and Lacey, but it's the other one. It's I think she's Lacey in the show.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, the blonde one. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I was just looking up because I didn't see Tyne Daly's name. So
yeah, so it's
the other one.
What is her name?
Sharon Glass.
Okay, yeah, her. I don't know. I just thought that was Cagney and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, so that's kind of the part of the premise in the TV show. So yeah, I thought that was interesting that they like kept that.
Well, and it's the same, it's the same book and everything, and then
so which I mean must have done okay for Chris McNeil because her house.
Well, she was an actress beforehand, though, too.
Yeah, she was, but like, who knows how much she acted after that, and like that's not really known.
If the Exorcist Heretic were to tell us anything, that baller apartment she had with no railings in New York City.
Fair. Oh my god!
But
right? Rooftop penthouse, whatever.
Yeah, with all the pigeons, the pigeon portal that she has on the back. So Chris decides she's going to help Victor. So they go to, because she's like, okay, where are the girls? He's like, well, Angela's in a mental institution and Catherine's at home. They're like, well, let's see if we can get what's happening with Catherine first. So they go to the to their residence.
Yeah.
And the door's pretty much like wide open.
There's shit everywhere. There's just things like windows are broken, lamps on the floor, there's glass on the floor, like there's shit everywhere, like a tornado went through it. And I don't remember where the dad is, but the mom is like,
yeah, he's like in the living room, like
drinking. I think
so.
And then the mom is with Catherine's siblings, praying in the kitchen, trying to pray it away.
And
Catherine's upstairs,
very reminiscent of Reagan. And so
strapped and they got straps. They've strapped her into bed.
They had been.
She wasn't right now.
No, she was unleashed and going to town.
Shit.
So Chris goes upstairs to find Catherine,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
starts to try to do her, like, the power of Christ compels you shit here.
Get out of this
And
little girl, and
this
in
little
the
girl's
name
gonna
of
have a
Reagan. What?
in the name of Reagan, yeah, bite me.
Get out
In the
of here.
name of Jesus, in the name of the Lord, in the name of Reagan. I mean, she didn't necessarily mean I wanted what happens to her to happen, but that was
No, but it was
dumb.
like it was bad writing, to be honest.
So,
Sorry guys.
so a crucifix goes into fleshy parts of somebody's body here, but it's not Catherine. Catherine stabs the fuck out of
The
Chris's
fuck.
eyes.
Her
Yeah,
eyeballs.
her
Eyes.
eyeballs. Yep, she is blinded, and so
Ugh.
um, how did they get Catherine out of there?
Um, they eventually carry her out. They leave at this point so Victor can take Chris McNeil is taken via ambulance to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, I think Anne is trying to get her priest like aware of this situation. And doesn't the
Yeah,
priest
Father
come to the
Maddox.
house, come to this house at some point? Or does he see Angela? I
No,
can't remember.
I don't remember. It
Because
doesn't
there's something
matter.
he witnesses one of them being demonic and whatever. Tries to go through the appropriate
Oh
channels
no,
at the
they take him to,
church.
they take him to the mental hospital because this is where Angela comes up and like licks the window and
Oh
and
yeah, she's like
she's
banging on
she's
the
been
glass.
stretching Reagan into the windowsill. She's doing
Mm-hmm.
great, guys. Um, so Victor's like, okay, we're calling together a super group of
We're getting the band together.
Christian leaders. We're getting the band together, and that includes the pastor from Catherine's church, Doctor
Beehive.
Beehive, Father Maddox, and
Father
Stuart,
Maddox.
because why not Stuart
Stuart to have an extra pair of hands. And
and
Anne,
Anne and Anne.
who doubles as a Christian and a nurse.
Yeah, yeah,
Because they hook them up, to heart monitors and shit, and with IV bags or whatever to kind of monitor their physical well-being. And they basically bolt down chairs in
yeah.
Victor's house to do
At the
this.
same time,
So,
like Father Maddox has gone to like the higher ups in the church to
and
be
they're
like
like,
granted an exorcism. Yeah, we find out in this like seconds before they're going to do this exorcism
yeah,
that,
like
oh, I
they
just
are
heard
meeting
from,
outside, and
yeah,
Maddox is there,
and he's
and he's
like,
like,
yeah, I just heard from the higher
yeah,
ups, not gonna happen, sorry, here's a book, have at it.
like,
So
good luck to
good luck.
you.
Good luck. I'll be praying in my car, but I'm gonna be staying in the car.
Right.
In which he does. So he's like, Anne, you could do this. I've got faith in you and Jesus. Um, and so she goes in and she's like all full of the spirit. She's gonna fucking knock this demon on its ass.
Oh yeah.
But they're like, when you're saying the monitors, they're monitoring their heartbeats. Unfortunately,
Hmm.
at this point, they're so in sync, there's only one heartbeat.
Right. They're beating as one. It's
Yep.
crazy. And they're like, oh
So
fuck.
we,
So
we
how
get to
does
the
one
point.
demon possess two girls? You ask. I don't fucking know.
Who the fuck knows?
That's the premise of the movie, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and also we finally learn that only one girl can live.
Yeah.
One must die for one to live.
One. Yeah. You choose. You
Around
parents.
this
You
time,
choose.
Doctor, huh?
No, I'm saying
What?
just you choose.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
The
they have to
parents.
choose, and they're like, and Catherine's mother and Victor are like, we're not choosing. They both
We're not
make a
choosing.
pact. They're like,
Yeah.
we are not choosing. Like almost
That's
the
not
point, like
happening.
let them both die. If that's if that is we're not choosing one of the other. Like if
Yeah.
they're going to both die, they're going to both die. But we're
Tony,
not
by
going.
the way, is kind of MIA. He kind of can't handle this.
No, he couldn't handle it when it got rough at any point. I mean, he's
Yeah.
pretty much a loser.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
Dr. Beehive has been making a like a
Jesus
slurry upstairs
juice.
And yeah, she's been making some juice,
She's
some hearty.
making some Christ tea in the tub.
Yeah,
Um,
she's
basically holy water.
right. It's like, yeah, like root work holy water, and so she's like
Yeah.
dumping it on the girls, and black gunk is coming out
Oh
of their
yeah, they're
mouths,
sizzling.
and
Something. One of the girls throws up something with black
it looked like a
ichor,
heart or
and
something. Yeah.
it looked like a heart, but it couldn't have been a heart. I thought maybe it was a spleen. I don't know. It was
Who
fucking
knows?
ugh,
There's not. I mean,
nasty.
we have no reason to know why these girls got possessed. No reason, because
No.
she didn't have her mom's scarf. Okay. Um,
All
and
right.
pretty much what she says to her dad, she's like, "I didn't have mom's scarf, and that's what I was using as a conduit to talk to mom." Okay. Um. So here comes Father Maddox. He's like, you know what? I'm
Changed
gonna.
his mind. Fuck
Yep.
it. Let's go.
He starts taking off that collar. He's like, let's do this. I'm gonna do this on my own.
And like
And
kisses
they
it
just
when they do that. And like,
yes,
let's go.
let's go. And then
Suit
what?
up.
Well, that lasts about a minute because then they just break his
It
neck.
was it was laughable. It was really sad because at first you're like you kind of do have a little bit of like, all right, let's go. We're doing this. We're fucking doing this. And then he's like, all of a sudden, like, and his
Yep.
head starts to turn in that familiar way, and you're like, oh no, oh no. And
Yep.
it breaks, it gets about here, breaks off the vertebrae and spins around and he falls to the floor. It's so fucking gross. Oh, it's so
Yeah. It
nasty.
was yeah, it was a sad day for my priest kink that day.
Yeah, sorry
Um
about that.
it's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
There's always
I'll find a
there's,
new priest to
look, you could always risk it and uh watch The Exorcist season 1 anyway, because there are two hot
I'm
priests there.
I mean
Both
certain
of whom we see shirtless, actually.
okay, going to Netflix.
It's on Hulu. You're welcome.
On the list. Love it. Um so
I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
at this time Victor runs and gets the scarf in question and
Yeah.
throws it over Angela, and it does
Oh,
start to work. No, he does this first.
okay.
Yeah, he does this first, and it starts to work. Like she starts coming back to herself. Like she's starts to cry, and she's like, "Daddy, what's going on?" And then because he actually pulls her out of she's recovered enough that he pulls her out of the chair, and then from the other room, because at this point Catherine is dead. Catherine has died.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, because then Tony says, "I choose you." Well, she starts to die. She's
I
starting to
know,
die.
but hold on. So before all this, Demon Angela, they're saying whatever the fuck, but Demon Angela is yelling at Victor saying, "You don't believe. You're
Oh
not a
yeah,
believer,"
that's right. I'm
which is
sorry.
the
Yes, that
title
is
of the fucking movie. So,
right.
like, you don't believe. And then comes to a realization and tells Victor, "You didn't choose me. You
You
chose
didn't want
her.
me.
You didn't want me." And we cut back to Haiti when when Victor had to make the call, do you choose your wife or your unborn daughter? And he said, try to save the wife.
Because we were sitting there going, "You can make more babies." Like we were
You can
like,
make that me too. I was like, you can make another one. It's fine.
yeah.
Like,
So he did,
it
and
was
he made that choice.
bad. But she obviously didn't survive anyway, and things were meant to happen as they did. And he had Angela. So then he races to get the scarf because he's like,
Yes.
I gotta pull her out. I gotta pull her out of there. She's in there. I gotta pull her out of there. And he's like you said, he's starting to get her. He's starting to pull her out. She's starting to kind of come through because of the scarf and the blessing and everything. And then that fucking asshole Tony.
Yeah, because Catherine is starting to die because
Yeah.
because we were both like, you can't trust the devil. The devil's not going to like
No.
no one made a choice, but one of the girls chose to live because
Yeah.
we see like what's happening in Catherine's mind. And in
Oh,
Catherine's
yeah. Oh,
mind,
it's so
she's
sad.
screaming, she's screaming, help me, help me, help me. And we hear the demon go, I choose you, Catherine, and pulls her under. And that's how she starts to die. So she's actually like suffocating.
And that's after Tony says it.
But no, that's when Tony screams, I choose you.
It was after that.
I think it was the same time. I think it you know what?
It doesn't matter.
Who fucking cares? At this point, like this
It really
movie,
doesn't.
I'm never going to watch it again, so I don't fucking care. All you know is Tony's a dickhead, and Catherine dies anyhow,
Tony's the
and
fucking worst.
Tony's the fucking worst. And so in Catherine dies anyhow, and Angela lives, and we also missed they levitate, but who the fuck? Because they don't levitate. That's right, because Tony chooses
At
Catherine, then
all
they
until like the
levitate.
end. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then Angela headbutts Victor like Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
I know, right?
Um,
Right.
yeah. So all you
Fucking
need to know is
awful.
Angela's still alive and poor Catherine's dead.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a fucking movie. Nothing else really happens.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of questions that I thought that, the police would have for a lot of these people involved in this room. You
Oh, I
got a
know,
dead
because
child and a
obviously
dead priest.
the police show up after this, and it's like, oh, how are we explaining this? Did we talk about that at the pact meeting?
Yeah.
Like, did we talk about how we're spinning this?
Yeah, like we should have maybe when we're planning, how are we going to talk? Like, what happens if one of the girls dies? What happens if there's just a dead priest with his head ripped, like almost off? How do we explain that to it was the devil? Okay,
Right.
sure.
Mm. Oops.
Yeah, he did it himself. He fell down the stairs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's literally the end of this movie. Like,
There it is.
we figured that Catherine's mom and dad are getting divorced.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because there's like a weird random scene through. There's like what do you call it? Like
They're
there's
in a
random
diner or
clips.
something.
There's random clips with a voiceover of like a big speech by Anne. But one of the like
Oh yeah,
little mini scenes was the dad sitting in a diner and the mom is like meeting him there.
yeah.
And it's like, oh, I don't think they're together anymore.
No, you get a divorce. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, that would kind of do it for me. I got to be honest. You kind of killed our kid.
Yeah, and there is a follow-up scene that I don't think we should spoil.
No, I agree.
So yeah, that's this movie. There's going to be 2 more of them.
I can't fucking believe that.
Okay, like I think we said this wasn't the worst movie we've ever seen. This
It's
was
the best of times. It was the worst of times.
It was not one of the worst Exorcist movies we've watched.
It was not. It was not.
While we're saying that, let's first do our ratings and then we will rank all of our Exorcist movies.
Oh, okay. Blood and gore.
I'm gonna say
gory.
2.5. I thought it was pretty like. I
It
mean
was
that
pretty gory.
that neck work was pretty righteous. So.
Oh yeah.
And that was all practical, so that was cool as shit. So.
Oh really?
It looked pretty practical. That looked like some sort of appliance they'd had on his neck to make it.
Ah. It was nasty. It was awesome. Spooky scary. Did it give you the chills, the heebie-jeebies?
No.
Yeah, no, me neither.
One. I was more upset with the hatred of homeless people, but yes.
I was more upset by that and a little like upset by the dog fighting in the beginning, but
Oh Jesus, right?
I know. So yeah, I'll say 1. Sex and nudity, none. There was none of that. Fun and entertainment.
Well, and I think also it's because we watched it together. Because I
That
think I
that
wouldn't have
definitely
caught.
adds to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't have caught half the stuff that you caught because I was making notes. I'm gonna say 1.5.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it that. Well, I'll give it 2 because I have a blast with you. But honestly, that's why like taking notes is laborious for me because when I watch a movie and take notes, it takes me like 3 or 4 hours sometimes to watch a movie because I'm stopping it and taking notes and then starting it again.
I have
Because I
a
have a shit
idea.
for memory.
Well, I have an idea that we'll talk about when we're done here. It'll take me 2
Okay.
seconds. I have an idea about that. Um,
Okay.
okay. So let's rank these pieces of shit. Because
Okay.
okay, I think I'm gonna put a disclaimer up again and say I know this is Hollywood history, and I know that this is scary for some people.
Yes.
I don't
Just
believe in the little Christian devil, so
good for
for
you,
me,
not for
these are
me.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
these are not from. These are not for me.
Well,
Again, we've also seen them a billion times too, so it's like
yeah.
muted for us. And again, we've seen some shit at this point. I
Yeah.
mean, all right,
I mean, I do to a certain degree, but not like this. Not like Catholics do. You know,
right.
it's just it's not the same. Like I don't believe that he has power over this world at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is a
It's
very
like I don't
Catholic heavy sort
yeah.
of Catholicism. Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
the prime example, our parents back in the day when this movie came
yeah,
out, my mom saw it and your mom saw it. Your
right.
mom was Catholic, right?
Hmm.
Was raised
Yep,
Catholic. Mine was not. My mom was not afraid of it, but yours
yeah,
was. It was, tends to
right,
be more scary for people who have grown up with that lord.
right.
Anyway, okay, so number 5 worst was 2,
Two. Yep.
obviously.
Number 4.
Number 4,
I bet you we have the same one on this one too.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say
I'm
3.
gonna say 3. Yes, I'm gonna say 3 because it was
Yep.
like, what's happening?
Okay.
Um,
Number 3.
number 3, 4.
Oh, I was gonna say this one.
Oh, really? I
I
enjoyed this more than I'm sorry. I don't have a kink for Stellan Skarsgård personally.
I
So
just
that
think
might
more
that might be
shit
a
happened.
contributing factor is all I'm saying.
I think more shit happened in that one.
But that was what was so interesting and cool about the first is that it was so simple, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess we
And
can
it was
finish.
at home base. Right, right, right. We'll talk about it. So for me, um third third best was 4
Right.
and yours was Believer. 2 for me was Believer.
That was
So that was 3 for you
Dominion.
probably.
Hmm. Hmm.
And number 1 obviously is the
One
first.
is yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it really didn't it never needed a prequel or a sequel or any of those things.
No.
As its
No.
own entity, it was fine.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it before. They mentioned in a home We Hate Movies, and I thought it makes an interesting point. Is they said, the first one is a co- a cozy a cozy horror, and I was thinking about like that makes sense because it's one place. It's one
Yeah.
place the whole
The
fucking movie.
right. 60% of the movie takes place in one room,
Yep.
in one set. It's a simple plus the more like at home in your home it is, the scarier it is because that's like that could happen to anybody,
Hmm.
rather than
The
being a
normalcy of it,
big
like
world thing. Then
yeah,
it's like, oh, okay, it's not happening here. It's over there.
right,
Plus,
right.
and another thing is, again, personally, I give a fuck who Father Marin was or what he did in his past or whatever. It was an interesting backstory to delve into that on why Pazuzu was like Marin, like had such a
Hmm.
vendetta against Marin. Like that was interesting to tap into, but I didn't really care at the end of the day.
I think with this one, I also chose it above that one is there's still so many fucking questions they never answered. Why
Yeah.
these girls? Is it the same demon? I'm assuming it is, but we don't know.
Well, we don't know that because he's
we
never
don't.
named. He's never named in the first either.
Mm-mm.
He's
And like, what's the whole thing with Reagan? I mean, like, just like and what did like I said, what did these poor? I still don't even know what poor fucking Reagan did to get possessed because we don't we that's
we
lacking
still
between
don't
getting
know.
that statue. Like, huh?
I'm just saying we still don't know.
We still don't know. So there's
50
part of me
years
that's like,
later.
yeah. So again, we with Dominion at least we get a few answers, not a ton. We get a few answers as to sort of. But at least we know where it all started, I guess. But this
Yeah.
is just a
This is
franchise.
not a movie that needed to be made. It didn't.
No. I mean, again, I think I sent you guys the article from the New York Times, or like the article from the Washington Post about where the story came from, where Blatty even got the fucking story. It was a New York Times like random story in the New
Yep.
York Times about some kid, and it was just like hearsay about some kid being possessed in
And
New
it was a
York City.
boy.
It was a
Yeah.
boy, and like they're like, but they kind of found out. The article pretty much said like, but they figured out that it was just him lying, like. But Blatty just went on a fucking tear and wrote this dumb book, and like, here we are. Oh, guys, so
Well,
glad
he's
this
he's
fucking
laughing all the way to the bank and we're not. So good for him.
yeah, true.
You know?
When my sentient, sentient inanimate object porn books gain traction, look out. When
Look out,
someone makes a
world.
movie about them, yeah, look out.
Oh
My
my
spatula
god.
series, my steamy spatula series is gonna take off anytime soon. Don't spank me.
Oh my
Spank me,
goodness.
spatula. Any hoozles. All right.
Spatula.
So
Oh,
spatula.
did I ever tell you about this story? My old choir director, Nicole, used to she used to live in or not in South she used to live in Euclid, like and she was at the store one time and she heard someone yelling at her kid and she's like, "Spatula, I got 2 words for you. Behave."
Oh, that kid's name was not spatula.
I know. I hope that it can't have been, but that's what she heard. So I'm like,
Oh,
I don't know. But every time I hear spatula, that's what I think about.
spatula. Spatula is going to be. It's either spatula or well, yeah, it's gonna be spatula, and he would be owned. He would be owned by an Italian family, Italian woman who makes delicious Italian meals with it, and it's in love with her or him. Could be him. And
We shall
for
see.
it to gain
Is it a flat spatula or does it have holes in it?
it's got holes in it. And to gain sentience, to gain like to become a human, they have to fuck it. So get the stick it some places.
Oh, so it's like Kiss the Frog kind of thing.
Yeah, except
Wow.
kiss my butthole. Yeah, hot. So what
Oh
we
my
got coming
god.
up? So we decided we're
All
gonna
right.
we
Well,
fucking yeah. We got coming up is we're doing folk horror because we got a little bit of a kick in the pants from seeing Hereditary, so we were like, let's do folk
yeah.
horror. So
Yeah. That movie was fucking
straight up
baller.
the butt. Speaking of, right around the corner, we've got Blood on Satan's Claw and The Witchfinder General. So getting ready for some Vincent Price up at this piece. Welcome to the podcast, Vincent Price.
Hey.
Plays the titular, which what
What Blood on Satan's
Blood on
Claw, right?
Satan's Claw, which I believe you can find on TV. I think one of the two you can find on Tubi, and then we can find on Pluto, I believe.
And then what was the
And
other one?
Witchfinder General.
Witchfinder General, thank you.
Yeah, and then we're doing Midsummer and The Witch. which I own Midsummer, so you can just come over here and watch it. And watch it together.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so look forward to that. At some point I am going to watch this one new movie that everyone's talking about that will ruin my life. So I'm excited about it.
Which one?
The one on Shudder. Geez Louise, what the fuck is it called?
Oh, did you try to get me to watch it with you?
Yeah, because they're like, don't watch it by yourself. I'm like, oh god, because they're like, it's
Oh,
gonna
I'll
like
watch it with you. Fuck it.
it is.
I just don't know when.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing too. Fuck, what is it called? It's
Oh, you
one of
texted
the
it to
newest
me. I
ones.
know
It's
you
like
did.
it was actually at the theater for about 2 seconds. But then,
Oh, really?
yeah, newly added. When Evil Lurks.
Okay.
It right
I'll
now
watch
has
it
like
with
a
you.
98% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
Wow.
and a really high audience score too. So
All right.
or no, it was a middling because I said there probably was because it's in Spanish. So and
Yeah.
Americans are dumb. So all right. Well, it's got a really high score
I
on
don't want to read a movie. Fuck you,
right.
dude.
It's got a high score on Shudder, which is where I'd
Yeah.
actually like I'm more apt to believe those people because those are my people. All right. You can find us a whole bunch of different places. If you like this, like and subscribe. Also,
Please.
if you listen to us on Spotify, if you listen to the podcast on Spotify, please follow us on Spotify. That pulls our numbers up and that gets us in front of sponsors because that would be helpful.
We
All
would like to
right.
have one maybe someday. That would be nice.
Yes. Yes, it would be nice.
Please,
Pay
I would
for
like
this,
that very much, please.
giant operation that we have.
Yes.
Ween, thank you.
Thank you.
And
as always. We have
yeah.
rounded up, we have finished it. We have done it and finished the Exorcist series. Huzzah!
This month was a fucking slog, man.
It really was.
Also, check out, we just had our second anniversary episode where we watched Silence of the Lambs and talked about that for almost 2 hours. No, 2 hours.
It was more than yes.
Yeah.
It was like
more
2
than
and
the
a half.
fucking movie. We talked longer than the goddamn movie. So
because it's so good, you guys.
So good.
There's so much
good.
to talk about.
Yeah.
Loved it. Anyway.
All right,
you.
guys. Keep it spooky.